In October 2025, Gavin Newsom also rejected a state bill, which, if passed, would have allowed trans people and anyone on hormone medication to maintain a 12-month supply of their medication. The bill, designed to protect trans Californians from import issues faced by the Trump administration's crackdown on gender-affirming care, passed with huge majorities earlier in the year, before being blocked by Newsom. Speaking of transphobes, I wanted to talk about something. I saw some tweets from Gavin Newsom and also like the GOP, and I always get like weird mixed signals when it comes to Gavin, because like on one hand he's like obviously pissing off the MAGA right, but on the other hand he's like flip-flopping around when it comes to like trans rights and so on. And it feels like a lot of the things that he does is literally just designed in order to piss them off. And it's not actually like what he believes. So I saw this. I want to see trans kids. Gavin Newsom posted by the GOP, and I was like, I want to see trans kids live and have access to life-saving medical treatment, education, and a supportive environment too. Gavin, you scum, gushes about how he wants to see the gender mutilation of children. Newsom, I want to see trans kids. There's no governor that's done more pro-trans legislation than I have. I'm not so sure.
We didn't get into trans sports. That's an issue no one wants to hear about, because 80% of the people listening disagree with my position on this. But it comes from my heart. Not just my head. It wasn't a political evolution. It
Your
was
position being that
I don't think it's. I want to see trans kids. I have a trans godson. There's no governor that's signed more pro-trans legislation than I have, and no one's been a stronger advocate for the LGBTQ community.
Of course, like it's nice to see, but then like it's so suspicious. Like I'm not entirely sure what to like make of him. And I think because like he does have like some progressive views, but then also like some conservative views, people don't really like trust him as much, and that's very problematic. Like I know there's like something with like his stance on like homelessness and whatnot. Suspicious. Exactly. So like a lot of the things that like I see from him is just memeing on the MAGA right. So there was this tweet from @America, California Governor Gavin Newsom. I want to see trans kids. There's no governor. Same clip, right? He posted, correct, we are sorry your daughter hates you, Elon. I can't see the tweet. Elon Musk talked about the woke mind virus again. Bro talked about the evil woke mind virus again. I assume you're referring to my son Xavier, who has a tragic mental illness caused by the evil woke mind virus you push on vulnerable children. I love Xavier very much and hope he recovers. Yes, Christian love. That naming your trans kid, and obviously, you know, what you mean by recovering is like getting like a common sense again and realizing that you will never be a real woman and you'll always be my son. I just want you to be my biological male son. My daughters are Azura, Exa, she goes by Y, and Arcadia, and they do indeed love me very much. I don't think so. So it's like Elon Musk is a monster. Your quote-unquote son has always been your daughter, but it's honestly unfair to her to call you a father. There's no quote-unquote evil woke mind virus. You're just an evil narcissistic freak who's funding anti-trans propaganda to take advantage of a culture war, which, you know, obviously he's been doing. Because at the start of everything, like, he was, like, really supportive and whatnot, but now he can take advantage of, you know, the right-wing propaganda and the rise and, like, fascism and whatnot to enrich himself. So he pushes anti-trans stuff in order to distract from, you know, his companies essentially causing incredible harm to not just the environment, but also society. Didn't she disown Elon? Yeah. Vivian said Elon is many things, but loving was never one of those things. Obviously. You know, it's unfair that Vivian is, like, referred to as, like, Elon Musk's daughter. I saw this tweet from this guy who's also, like, some Elon Musk dick rider, quote tweeting, Governor Newsom's tweet, using a father's estranged son as a weapon from a government account, genuinely evil. These are broken, miserable, soulless people. They have nothing worth loving, so they mock those who do. Absolute fucking scum. I quote tweeted this with, quote-unquote, estranged son. Vivian is an icon who is successful despite Elon, and he hates that. Trans kids who grow up in a supportive environment are flourishing, while you abusing us and forcing us to repress kills us, not just emotionally, but physically. With, like, a news article, the transgender transgender kids are alright. Study shows they have good mental health if they are allowed to be themselves. I also had like, the main reason why trans people are suffering with depression is because of freaks like you abusing us. Transgender kids often have it rough in a world that isn't crazy about people's differences and often meets out severe consequences for such dissimilarities. Jesus, I can't read. Trans children can find themselves targets of mental and physical attacks. In one of the most egregious cases, an 18-year-old age and a child was set ablaze on a bus in Oakland, California. Fortunately, parents can help, basically just by being parents. According to a new study, trans kids whose parents support them in their gender identity are no more anxious or depressed than the rest of us. Set ablaze? Yeah, that's crazy. Bro was like, the main reason why trans people are suffering with depression is because they are living a lie and are hormonally dysfunctional. So it's like gender affirming care is beneficial and the only thing to help with gender dysphoria. The biggest regret trans people have is not transitioning sooner. The main issue trans people have is lack of access to healthcare and dealing with prejudice and social stigma. When I replied, he also like set his replies to like verified accounts and whatnot, which I think is always funny, is when people log replies anytime like I respond. I'm all in favor of gender affirming care. We must affirm the gender one is born with for their own well-being. What you're suggesting is literally conversion therapy and the abuse that leads to high suicide rates in queer kids and adults. In contrast, there's ample evidence that societal prejudice causes significant medical, psychological, and other harms to LGBTQ+ people. For example, research on the issue of family acceptance of LGBTQ+ youth conducted at San Francisco State University found that compared with LGBTQ+ young people who were not rejected or were only a little rejected by their parents and caregivers because of their gay or transgender identities, highly rejected LGBTQ+ young people were more than 8 times as likely to have attempted suicide, nearly 6 times as likely to report high levels of depression, more than 3 times as likely to use illegal drugs, more than 3 times as likely to be at high risk for HIV and STDs. Why do these people pretend they are smart when none of them read anything more than a headline? Reading is incredibly hard. Obviously, you know, you get like a shit ton of likes for pushing like anti-trans propaganda and whatnot. But yeah, then I also saw this. Father's anger at trans girls' potentially fatal testosterone dose. The child, who was 15 at the time, was given the prescription by the private gender GP clinic after one online counseling session. So I was like confused. Why would they give a trans girl testosterone? Father's anger at girls' potentially fatal testosterone dose, potentially, is doing a heavy lifting in this instance. I saw this one. It is journalism's sacred duty to endanger the lives of as many trans people as possible. Which is like, it's so accurate. Anything can be potential fatal. Also, like, you're talking about a trans boy. It's so complicated. When people use the wrong language for trans people, it is so dumb. Obviously, you cannot read the article. You are judging everything based on the headline and what they are posting in the tweet. Because when you click on there, then it tells you, oh, you need to subscribe. Oh, you need to start your free trial to like read the article. But yeah, so obviously incredibly gross from Elon Musk, but like, what do you expect? I don't know if Vivian said anything to that. There's nothing in the article though, right? Decided the reason for the change as gender identity and the fact that I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. In an interview with right-wing commentator Jordan Peterson last year, Musk commented on his daughter's transition, saying they call it dead naming for a reason. The reason it's called dead naming is because their son is dead. He said, going on to add that his quote-unquote son was quote-unquote dead and had been quote-unquote killed by the quote-unquote woke mind virus. Wilson clapped back at Musk on Threads, writing at the time that she is legally recognized as a woman in the state of California and I don't concern myself with the opinions of those who are below me. Legit icon. This continued to roast Elon Musk on a regular basis, calling him, amongst other things, an insecure little buffoon. Is Gavin Newsom really pro-trans? That's kind of like what I'm interested in. The Democrats' claim of being pro-trans don't quite tie in with his recent actions towards the community. In March, he was criticized for speaking out against trans inclusion in women's sports, putting him at odds with his previous actions and other members of his party. I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It's an issue of fairness. It's deeply unfair. Newsom said of trans inclusion in sport, which is like contradictory to what he like said in the recent like interview. So it's just like, I don't know where he actually stands. If what he's saying is literally just to, you know, get this form of like attention from the right. If he's just flip-flopping around, he's like untrustworthy and contradictory to the actual evidence. Exactly. I hate that people who have no understanding of the topic form their opinion based on like what they already know, which is like incomplete. Like they're comparing like cis men to cis women, and they're like, oh, because cis men have an advantage in like upper body strength and whatnot due to testosterone and so on. This means that trans women also have like this advantage, and this advantage exists no matter if you block testosterone or not, which is obviously not true. The politician made his unexpected comments in the debut episode of his podcast, This is Gavin Newsom, in which he spoke with Turning Point USA co-founder, notable MAGA figure Charlie Kirk, who has since died. Wait, what happened? Yeah, didn't he plan to have like an interview with Hassan? In October 2025, Gavin Newsom also rejected a state bill, which, if passed, would have allowed trans people and anyone on hormone medication to maintain a 12-month supply of their medication. The bill, designed to protect trans Californians from import issues faced by the Trump administration's crackdown on gender-affirming care, passed with huge majorities earlier in the year, before being blocked by Newsom, who claimed the bill could have implications for healthcare costs in the state. Those concerns were disproved by journalist Aaron Reed, who said that hormone therapy is quote-unquote among the least expensive forms of prescription medication in the US. He noted that estradiol tablets feminizing hormone medication typically cost under $20 for a 90-day supply, while testosterone medication, while pricier, is still just $100 to $150 per month. Also note that there aren't that many trans people. We are not talking about like 50 million people going on HRT and like benefiting from this. Charlie died to the woke mind virus too. The right is now transvestigating Charlie Kirk and his wife Erica. What? Wait. What? We all knew it was inevitable. The MAGA conspiracy set is knee deep in transvestigating Charlie Kirk and his widow, Erica Kirk. What? Well, the blissfully offline, oh, how we envy you. Transvestigation is a transphobic conspiracy theory advanced over the past 8 years, adherents to which believe countless celebrities, politicians, and other public figures are secretly transgender. Transvestigators on social media started training their eyes on Erica Kirk roughly 2 months ago in mid-September. Is it the male energy? Is it the male eyes? The investigation has shown no signs of slowing down since then, as ex-users Audrey Rose Beavers noticed earlier this week sharing a screenshot from a Facebook group titled Transvestigation Disclosure Now, which has over 53,000 members. A user named Karen Starbucks posted several photos of Erica Kirk from her days as a Miss Arizona pageant contestant, alleging they showed evidence Kirk is secretly trans. That is a man, as most pageant winners Starbucks intended pointing to Kirk's jawline, collarbone, and thigh gap. Erica Kirk, straight collarbones. His legs are normal female anatomy either. Jawline is male. Smaller hips than shoulders. Thigh gap. That is a man. Most pageant winners are. This is a man. And big man heads that don't fit right on their small frame feminine bodies. I don't know if you've done this one, but I found this today. Her collarbones tell a story. What the fuck? Oh my god, we can always tell. Transvestigators often believe that so-called trans inverts are assigned handlers by whoever is controlling the alleged conspiracy, which, as one may have guessed, is where the Kirk case degrades into full-blown anti-Semitism. Sometimes I get comments of people being like, "Oh, you're You're only under the attack because your Jewish overlords do not need you to destabilize the West anymore. Some shit. It's so dystopian. What's a transvestigate? Someone who believes that cis people are secretly trans. And they're trying to find, like, weird reasons why. Like, the jawline. They are transvestigating my VTuber model. This was a Doom character that they were transvestigating because, you know. I got a comment like this. Ha ha ha, someone else noticed Nyara's model looks masked. Imagine having a clocky VTuber model. I got this previously before that apparently, like, my jawline or my VTuber's forehead or hairline or whatnot is too masked. As we all know, your VTuber models looks are dependent on genes, exactly. This is so sad. Twitter's such a hellhole. These are my YouTube comments. I mean, they're transvestigating fucking gingerbread. They're offended when it's not ginger men, but ginger people. You know, the entire rhetoric that like sex and gender is like the same thing, and you need to have like the XX chromosomes in order to call yourself like a real woman. And then they like sitting out there and being like, yeah, the bread is actually, you can't use gender neutral language for this bread. Transvestigating pixels, yeah, it's so chronically online, and they think that they are normal. Anyway, I don't know how like I should feel about Gavin Newsom. This is obviously, you know, it's kind of interesting, but I don't see how people, especially trans people, can trust him, right? After like everything that he's done in opposition of trans people, a lot of it is just, it seems performative. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this. I just wanted to mention it. If you want to fund my plushie, we have 34 right now. The plushie is about 30 euros. You gotta pledge right now in order to make this happen. It is limited time. You got 30 days. We need a minimum of like 100. I do appreciate everybody who's pledging already, who's, you know, who wants the little goober.